Deserve it.
Business reports, sporting events.
Hello for Garnacho! Oh wow! Oh wow! That is one of the great goals!
Entertainment updates and many more. All on Midas Radio 90.5 FM. Unrivaled information. Fresh, factual, accurate, unbiased, concise, balanced on Midas Radio News. It's time to bring you stories that matter.
Good evening. My name is Bukola Oloruntobi with News Spectrum on Midas Radio 90.5 FM, broadcasting live from Ado Ekiti. Here are the top stories. Court orders Ekiti State Government to pay former Deputy Governor Lawal's entitlements. President Tinubu swears in Dharma as Minister of Housing and Urban Development. And on the foreign scene, South Africa government promises crackdown on xenophobic attacks. Now the news in detail. The National Industrial Court in Abuja has directed the Ekiti State Government to pay all outstanding entitlements, including monthly stipend, severance allowance, gratuity, and other benefits owed to former Deputy Governor Sikiru Lawal. Lawal had alleged that since leaving office in 2010, he was denied his entitlements despite not being impeached, while his former principal received his benefits. In his ruling, Justice Subilim ordered the government to immediately compute and pay all arrears from October 15, 2010 and continue subsequent payments as required by law. The court also awarded 10 million naira in damages against the defendants, describing their conduct as oppressive, arbitrary, and unconstitutional. Lawal served as deputy to former Governor Segun until both were removed by the Court of Appeal in 2010. Still on legal matters, the Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned the alleged money laundering case filed against former Governor of Kogi State, PELU, until May 6 for continuation of trial. Justice Emeka Hunwite adjourned the hearing to allow Bello's lawyer, Joseph Daudu, to continue with the cross-examination of EFCC's 12th prosecution witness, Abdullahi Jamilu. Jamilu, who was giving his initial statement to the anti-graft agency to refresh his memory, said he made the statement to the EFCC on May 10, 2022. Justice Nwite had earlier dismissed that objection of the defense counsel to the EFCC lawyer's bid to represent and exhibit, noting that it was speculative and misconstrued. Justice Nwite thereafter adjourned the matter until May 6th and May 7th for continuation of the cross-examination of Jamilu. On education, Ekiti State Government has announced that public and private primary and secondary schools will resume on April 27th for the third term of the 2025-2026 academic session. Commissioner for Education Olabimpe Aderiye said the resumption follows a 3-week holiday after the second term and Easter break. She emphasized that teachers and students are expected to return on the scheduled date, with academic activities starting immediately. Aderiye noted that the resumption aligns with the approved academic calendar and marks the beginning of a new phase with students set to engage in both academic and extracurricular activities throughout the term. She assured that the government will continue to provide guidance and regulations to ensure excellent outcomes in schools. In the meantime, Ekiti state government has announced that the April edition of its monthly environmental sanitation exercise will hold tomorrow from 7 to 10 in the morning across all local government areas and local council development areas. In a statement, Commissioner for Environment and Natural Resources, Tosin Aluko-Ajishafe, urged residents to participate actively in the exercise, which she described as a collective civic responsibility. She noted that movement would be restricted during the 3-hour exercise, except for persons on essential duties. She said environmental health officers, in collaboration with officials of LGAs, LCDAs, non-governmental organizations, and security agencies, would monitor compliance and enforce regulations where necessary. Away from that, President Bola Tinubu has sworn in Mutaka Darma as Minister of Housing and Urban Development. The ceremony took place at the President's Conference Room, Presidential Villa in Abuja. Darma, a former executive secretary of the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, was confirmed by the Senate after screening. During the exercise, he pledged to work with the National Assembly to tackle Nigeria's housing deficit, noting that over 100 million Nigerians lack adequate housing. He succeeds Ahmed Dangiwa, whose exit followed a minor Federal Executive Council reshuffle announced by the presidency on Tuesday. In a separate development, Iroyin has assumed office as Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy following a formal handover by his predecessor, Wale. The transition was confirmed in a statement by the Ministry Head of Information and Public Relations, Efe Ovakwori, who noted that the process was completed within the timeline set by President Bola Tinubu. In his inaugural remarks, Oyedele vowed to build on ongoing economic reforms as well as achieving measurable outcomes across key sectors, while expressing commitment to work closely with the management and staff of the ministry. He assured that his administration would prioritize fiscal discipline, transparency, and improved economic outcomes. Meanwhile, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has described as false and misleading reports suggesting that it is selling scrap materials, equipment, or components from its refineries to individuals and private companies. In a statement, NNPC held Chief Corporate Communications Officer Andy Ode said it had not issued any requests for bids, tenders, expressions of interest, or approvals for the sale of scrap materials and refinery components. Or they advised the public, corporate organizations, and industry stakeholders to disregard any such claims or solicitation and to exercise caution in dealing with anyone making such representations. Any legitimate disposal of assets by the company would only be conducted through established and transparent processes, publicly communicated through its official channels and in accordance with applicable regulations. In another development, the Central Bank of Nigeria has increased the fee for issuance and replacement of automated terminal machine debit credit cards by 50% to 1,500 from 1,000 naira. The Apex Bank disclosed this in its exposure draft of the Guide to Charges by Banks and Other Financial Institutions in Nigeria 2026. CBN also scrapped the 50 naira monthly charges for naira debit credit card maintenance, which usually includes 7.5% value-added tax, but said customers with foreign currency denominated debit credit cards will continue to pay maintenance fee of $10 per annum. The Apex Bank also reiterated, among other things, that the cost of ATM transactions on merchants' POS will be borne by the merchant and not the customers. Nigerians in Diaspora Commission has asked Nigerians in South Africa to shut their businesses and avoid confrontations as xenophobic attacks escalate in parts of the country. In a statement, NIDCOM said the advisory follows a circular from the Consulate General of Nigeria in Johannesburg, with claims that protests in East London, Cape Town, Durban, and KwaZulu-Natal has turned violent, leading to looting, destruction of property, and injuries. NIDCOM said intelligence from the consulate indicates that fresh protests are planned in Gauteng province between April 27 and April 29, with demonstrators seeking to pressure the South African government over the presence of foreign nationals. The commission advised Nigerians to refrain from engaging protest groups, avoid crowded areas, and monitor local media for real-time updates on the security situation. And on the foreign scene, South African government has promised to crack down on anyone carrying out xenophobic attacks on Ghanaians and other foreign nationals. A day after Ghana protested over videos of violent incidents circulating on social media. In a statement, South Africa's police ministry said all those found participating in or inciting xenophobic acts will be identified, apprehended, and brought before the courts. The police asked community leaders and civil society groups to help prevent further attacks and promote dialogue. During a meeting with government officials, South Africa's Foreign Affairs Minister Ronald Lamola noted that attacks such as lawlessness, intimidation, and violence against migrant communities have no place in the country's constitutional democracy. You're still listening to News Spectrum on Midas Radio 90.5 FM at Ekiti.
Remember to protect the land of honor and integrity. Please visit www.midasradio905.fm for more information, and you can follow us across our social media platforms at Midas Radio 905 for regular updates. You can also download our app on Apple or Play Store for convenient access and your listening pleasure. Midas Radio cares about you, and we are committed to bringing you stories that matter.
Thanks for staying with us. Up next is sports and entertainment news.
On sports updates Former Super Eagles striker Michael Enramo has died after collapsing during a football match in Kaduna State. The 40-year-old slumped while playing at the Angwan Yelwa pitch, Kaduna. Enramo, who came on as a second-half substitute, was said to have collapsed suddenly without any physical contact during the game. The former international, who had since retired from professional football, featured in clubs such as Besiktas, JAYE, Esperance Sportive de Tunis, and Lobby Stars FC during his time. In the meantime, UEFA have banned Benfica winger Gianluca Cristiani for 6 matches. Cristiani was banned after a controversial incident in the Champions League clash against Real Madrid in February. The European Football Governing Body said they had taken the decision to ban the Argentine for discriminatory conduct, with 3 of those matches suspended for a 2-year probationary period. Finally, Claudio Ranieri has left his role as senior advisor to Roma's billionaire American owners after a public row with their coach, Gian Gasperini. In a brief statement, the Serie A club said the relationship with Ranieri and gave full backing to Gasperini, who was brought to the club last summer. Last summer, Gasperini left Atalanta after 9 successful years to replace Ranieri and was hailed by his predecessor as the right man to take one of Italy's best supported clubs to the top, but the relationship fractured as Gasperini publicly criticized Roma's transfer activity and suggested that he was not involved in the purchase of some players. That's it on Sports Updates. My name is Blessing Ogundola. Good evening.
It's time for entertainment news.
On entertainment, veteran Nigerian actor Don Richard has debunked reports making the rounds about his demise. This is coming after reports circulated that Richard suffered kidney failure before he died. Reacting on his Instagram page, the actor dismissed the viral report, stating that he is hale and hearty. Recall that he solicited financial help in July 2025 after selling his house and cars over his battle with kidney disease. In the meantime, Nigerian artist Nico Gravity is seeking financial assistance as he battles with a heart condition. The veteran musician, known for his day's hit song Finish Timaya, is soliciting financial help to enable him carry out a series of tests so doctors could proceed with more treatments. In a post on his Facebook page, Gravity said he has been urinating blood, which signifies that his kidneys are already affected. Gravity said he had already exhausted all his money and still needs to do more tests. Finally, Abuja-based disc jockey Amaobi Ude, known as VDJ Mobi, is set to attempt a Guinness World Record with a 72-hour live stream with uninterrupted music playback. In a statement, VDJ Mobi said the attempt is designed not only as a record-breaking performance, but also as a platform to draw attention to challenges affecting girls' access to education, to education, particularly those linked to a lack of menstrual hygiene support. The event, tagged Mobi's Mixathon, is structured as a continuous DJ performance expected to run for 3 days. Organizers said songs will not be repeated within a 4-hour window in line with the guidelines. That's it on entertainment happenings. My name is Ayotunde Adebiyi. Good evening.
That's News Spectrum this evening, but before we go, here is a recap of the top stories. The National Industrial Court in Abuja has directed the Ekiti State government to pay all outstanding entitlement to former Deputy Governor Sikiru Lawal. President Bola Tinubu has sworn in Mutaka Dharma as Minister of Housing and Urban Development. And on the foreign scene, South African government has promised to crack down on anyone carrying out xenophobic attacks on foreign nationals. That's News Spectrum, and on behalf of the production crew, led by Blessing Ogundola, my name is Bukola Oloruntobi. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Ìròyìn ní yàjó bó ṣe ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ohun tó yẹ kẹ́ ẹ gbọ́ nílẹ̀ yìí àti káàkiri àgbáyé ọ̀rọ̀ òṣèlú ìròyìn ilẹ̀ òkèrè ìròyìn okòwò eré ìdárayá ìròyìn amúlùúdùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ gbogbo ẹ̀ lórí Midas Radio 90.5 FM ìròyìn tí ò láfiwé ó tuntun ó ṣe sàn án kò lábùlà ó yá àkókò ti tó láti gbọ́ àwọn ìròyìn tó jọjú.
ẹ kúrọ̀lẹ́ ẹ sì kú iṣẹ́ látàárọ̀ ìròyìn Jale Jako la mú wá fún yín láti kàn ní Midas Radio 90.5 FM JAYE OMOGBEYIN lórúkọ tèmi ṣáájú ẹ gbọ́ kókó tí ń bẹ nínú ìròyìn náà. ilé ẹjọ́ pàṣẹ kíjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì san gbogbo àjẹmọ́nú igbákejì gómìnà tẹ́lẹ̀ Lawal fún. ààrẹ Tinubu búra wọlé fún Drama gẹ́gẹ́ bí mínísítà fọ́rọ̀ ilé ìgbé àti ìdàgbàsókè ìlú. ìjọba ilẹ̀ South Africa ṣèlérí fífòfin gbé àwọn tí wọ́n ṣàkọlù sáwọn àlejò. ìròyìn náà rèé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́. ilé ẹjọ́ tí ń gbẹ́sùn tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú iléeṣẹ́ lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí ló ti pàṣẹ fún ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì láti san gbogbo owó tó jẹ́ ẹ̀tọ́ fún igbákejì gómìnà tẹ́lẹ̀ ní ìpínlẹ̀ yìí Síkírù Lawal fún tó fi mọ́ gbogbo àwọn àjẹmọ́nú oṣooṣù àtàwọn ẹ̀sùn míì fún pátápátá. láti ìgbà tó ti kúrò ní ọ́fíìsì ní Lawal ti fẹ̀sùn kàn wípé láti ìgbà náà lọ́hùn-ún ni igbákejì ni gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìgbà tó ń ti kúrò nípò gẹ́gẹ́ bí igbákejì gómìnà ni wọ́n ti ń fi ẹ̀tọ́ òun dùn òun tí kì í ṣe wípé níṣe ni wọ́n yọ òun nípò àti wípé ọ̀gá òun tó jẹ́ gómìnà nígbà náà lọ́hùn-ún gba tirẹ̀ lọ lóṣooṣù. onídàájọ́ Subulim ti wá pàṣẹ báyìí kí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì san gbogbo owó rẹ̀ fún pátápátá kí wọ́n sì ṣe ìṣirò rẹ̀ bó ti tó àti bó ti yẹ láti ọjọ́ 15 oṣù kẹwàá ọdún 2010 títí di àkókò yìí kí wọ́n sì tẹ̀ síwájú láti máa san fún síwájú àti síwájú sí i gẹ́gẹ́ bí ó ti wà ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú òfin. bákan náà nílé ẹjọ́ ọ̀hún tún pàṣẹ mílíọ̀nù 10 náírà tó jẹ́ owó gbà má bínú fún un láti ọwọ́ ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì. Lawal ló jẹ́ igbákejì gómìnà sí gómìnà tẹ́lẹ̀ nípínlẹ̀ yìí Ṣẹ́gun Òní tó sì jẹ́ pé ilé ẹjọ́ kò tẹ́milọ́rùn ló yọ wọ́n nípò lọ́dún 2010. ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì ló ti fi léde wípé kí gbogbo ilé ẹ̀kọ́ alákọ̀ọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ àti girama tó jẹ́ ti ìjọba àpapọ̀ àti ti aládàáni kí wọ́n wọlé padà sílé ẹ̀kọ́ lọ́jọ́ 27 oṣù kẹrin ọdún yìí fún sáà ìpele kẹta fún sáà ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ 2025 sí 2026. kọmíṣánná fún ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ Ọlábímpé Adéríyè tó fọ̀rọ̀ ìlédè ní ìwọlé padà náà ló tẹ̀lé ààyè ìsinmi ọlọ́sẹ̀ mẹ́ta lẹ́yìn ìpele ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kejì àti ìsinmi ọdún àjíǹde. ó ní àti olùkọ́ àti akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ló gbọ́dọ̀ wọlé lọ́jọ́ náà kí ètò ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ sì bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní pẹrẹu. Adéríyè ní ìwọlé yìí ló wà ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àlàkalẹ̀ sáà ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́. ó fi dá àwọn ènìyàn lójú wípé ìjọba kò ní tẹ̀tí o láti túbọ̀ mú ètò ẹ̀kọ́ múnádóko ní ilé ẹ̀kọ́ gbogbo nípínlẹ̀ Èkìtì. ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì ló ti sọ di mímọ̀ wípé ètò gbàlúmọ̀ olóṣooṣù tí oṣù yìí yóò wáyé lọ́la láago 7 sí aago 10 òwúrọ̀ jákèjádò gbogbo ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ tí ń bẹ nípínlẹ̀ Èkìtì. kọmíṣánná fún ọ̀rọ̀ àyíká àti ohun àlùmọ́ọ́nì ilẹ̀ Tósìn Àlùkò Ajíṣàfẹ́ tó fọ̀rọ̀ ìlédè wa rọ gbogbo ènìyàn láti kópa nínú ètò gbàlúmọ̀ ọ̀hún tó jẹ́ ẹ̀tọ́ àti ojúṣe gbogbo ènìyàn. ó ṣàlàyé wípé kò ní sí kálọkábọ̀ ọkọ̀ lákòókò náà àyàfi àwọn tí iṣẹ́ wọn bá pọn dandan nìkan. Ó ní àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ elétò ìlera tìjọba ìbílẹ̀ onídàgbàsókè àti àwọn àjọ tí kò rọ̀gbọ̀kú lé ìjọba tó fi mọ́ àwọn àjọ elétò ààbò gbogbo ni yóò mójútó bí ètò náà yóò ti lọ. Ààrẹ ilẹ̀ yìí Bọ́lá Tinubu ló ti búra wọlé fún mínísítà fún ọ̀rọ̀ ilé ìgbé àti ìdàgbàsókè ìlú Mursaga Dama báyìí. Ayẹyẹ ìbúrawọlé náà ló wáyé lọ́fíìsì ààrẹ l'Àbújá. Rahman tó jẹ́ akọ̀wé àgbà fájọ Petroleum Technology Development Fund tẹ́lẹ̀ láwọn aṣòfin bọwọ́ lù gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹni tó kójú òṣùwọ̀n sí ipò mínísítà. Níbi ayẹyẹ ọ̀hún ló ti ṣe ìlérí wípé òun yóò ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin àgbà láti ṣiṣẹ́ lórí kùdìẹ̀kudiẹ tó wà nípa ilé ìgbé lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí. Ó ní ó lé ní 100 mílíọ̀nù ọmọ orílẹ̀‐èdè yìí ni kò gbé ilé tó dáńtọ́. Rahman ló gorí ipò tẹ̀lé Ahmed Dangiwa tó kúrò nípò lẹ́yìn àtúntò ráńpẹ́ tó wáyé nípa àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ orílẹ̀‐èdè yìí látọwọ́ ìjọba àpapọ̀ lọ́jọ́ ìṣẹ́gun ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí. Táíwò Oyèdélé ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ báyìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí mínísítà fún ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣúná lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí lẹ́yìn tí ẹni tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ kúrò lórí ipò ọ̀hún Wálé Ẹdún ti jọ̀wọ́ gbogbo nǹkan fún un. Eléyìí ló fìdí múlẹ̀ nínú àtẹ̀jáde láti ọwọ́ ọ̀gá àgbà lẹ́ka ìbáraẹnisọ̀rọ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ọ̀hún ìyẹn Efel Owapòríè. Ó ní gbogbo ètò ló ti tò báyìí ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àṣẹ ààrẹ Bọ́lá Tinubu. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ ìwọlé rẹ̀ Oyèdélé ṣèlérí láti tẹ̀lé ìlànà à ń tọ̀ láti lè mú àtúntò bá ètò ọrọ̀ ajé tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́ yìí. Ó ní àsìkò òun gẹ́gẹ́ bí mínísítà yóò mú ìkóra ẹni ní ìjánu, àkóyawọ́ àti ìdàgbàsókè ọrọ̀ ajé ní ọ̀kúnkúndùn. Àjọ Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited ló ti ní irọ́ tó jìnnà sóòótọ́ ní ọ̀rọ̀ tó jà ìrìnrìn nígboro wípé wọ́n ń ta àwọn ohun èlò tó ti bàjẹ́ níbùdó ìfọpo ilẹ̀ yìí fáwọn èèyàn àti iléeṣẹ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ọ̀gá àgbà lẹ́ka ìbáraẹnisọ̀rọ̀ àjọ NNPCL Andy Ode tó fọ̀rọ̀ ìlédè ní òun ò tí ì mú ìwé kankan sílẹ̀ o tó jọmọ́ àrọ̀ wípé à ń ta àwọn nǹkan kan àti wípé kò tí ì sí àbọ̀wọ́lù kankan látọ̀dọ̀ ẹnikẹ́ni wípé kí wọ́n ta ohun èlò tó jẹ́ ti ibùdó ìfọpo orílẹ̀-èdè tó ti bàjẹ́. Òde wá rọ àwọn ènìyàn láti má ṣe dòpọ̀ pẹ̀lú ẹnikẹ́ni nípa títa àwọn ohun èlò tó ti bàjẹ́ ní ibùdó ìfọpo orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Ó ní bí iléeṣẹ́ NNPCL bá fẹ́ ṣe ohunkóhun àbí wọ́n fẹ́ ta nǹkan kan wọn yóò ṣe é ní ìlànà tó tọ́ tó sì yẹ tí wọn yóò sì fi léde káàkiri káwọn èèyàn kó lè gbọ́. Báńkì àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí ló ti mú àfikún débá ṣíṣe ìrọ́pò káàdì ẹ̀rọ automated teller machine ATM báyìí sí 50% láti Náírà sí Náírà. Báńkì àgbà wọn ní nínú àlàyé ni wọ́n ti ní èyí wà ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àgbékalẹ̀ ìlànà à ń tọ̀ nípa bí àwọn ilé ìfowópamọ́ ti ń yọ èrè lórí àwọn ènìyàn ní bó ṣe wà nínú ìlànà ti ọdún 2026 yìí. Bákan náà ní báńkì ọ̀hún tún fagilé Náírà táwọn ilé ìfowópamọ́ máa ń yọ lóṣooṣù lórí owó tí wọ́n ní wọ́n fi ń bójútó káàdì ATM ọ̀hún. Wọ́n ní àwọn olùfowópamọ́ tó bá ní káàdì tí wọ́n fi ń gba owó ilẹ̀ òkèrè nìkan ni ó máa san owó ọ̀hún tẹ̀síwájú tó jẹ́ $10 fún ọdún kan. Báńkì àgbà ọ̀hún tún tẹ̀síwájú nínú àlàyé pé àwọn tó bá ní ẹ̀rọ POS nìkan ni yóò máa san owó wípé wọ́n ń gba owó tàbí wọ́n fowó ránṣẹ́ láti àkókò yìí lọ kì í ṣe àwọn oníbàárà wọn. Ìròyìn Jale Jako lẹ̀ ń gbọ́ láti kàn ní Midas Radio 90.5 FM.
Rántí láti dáàbò bo ilẹ̀ yìí àti ẹ̀yẹ ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí ìtàkùn www.midasradio905.fm fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ ìròyìn. Ẹ tún lè tẹ̀lé wa lórí àwọn ìtàkùn ayélujára wa gbogbo @midasradio905 fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ ìròyìn lóòrèkóòrè. Ẹ tún lè download app Midas Radio lórí Apple tàbí Play Store fún àǹfààní láti gbọ́ wa kétékété. Ìkànnì Midas Radio wà fún àbójútó rẹ̀, a sì ní ìpinnu láti fún ọ ní ìròyìn tó jọjú.
Ẹ káàbọ̀ padà, ìròyìn Jale Jako ń tẹ̀ síwájú. àjọ Nigerian Diaspora Commission ni wọ́n ti ní káwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà tó wà lórílẹ̀-èdè South Africa ti gbogbo ibi ìtajà wọn báyìí láti dènà àkọlù táwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè ń ṣe sáwọn àlejò. Àjọ ọ̀hún ní àrọwà yìí wá látàrí àmọ̀ràn tí olùgbaninímọ̀ràn ilẹ̀ yìí tó wà ní Johannesburg gbà wọ́n wípé ìfẹ̀hónúhàn ní ìwọ̀ oòrùn London, Cape Town, Durban àti KwaZulu-Natal ti padà já sí àkọlù olè jíjà, bíba ohun ìní jẹ́ tó sì mú ìfarapa bá ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ènìyàn. Àjọ NIDCOM wà ní ìwádìí fi hàn wípé wọ́n tuntun ń gbèrò ìwọ́de ìfẹ̀hónúhàn míì lọ́jọ́ 27 sọ́jọ́ 29 oṣù kẹrin ọdún yìí táwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè South Africa fi ń ṣe lòdì sáwọn àlejò tí ń bẹ lórílẹ̀-èdè ọ̀hún. Látilẹ̀ òkèrè, ìjọba orílẹ̀-èdè South Africa ló ti ṣe ìlérí báyìí láti fòfin gbé àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè ọ̀hún tó ń ṣàkọlù sáwọn àlejò yẹn àwọn ọmọ tó ń ṣàkọlù sáwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Ghana tó ń gbé ní South Africa lẹ́yìn tí fọ́nrán kan jáde sórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára níbi tí àwọn ọmọ ilẹ̀ South Africa ti ń ṣe àkọlù àti ìfẹ̀hónúhàn. Àjọ ọlọ́pàá ti South Africa ti wá ní wọn yóò ṣe ìwádìí lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀hún. Gbogbo àwọn ohun tó bá lọ́wọ́ nínú àkọlù náà lọ́wọ́ yóò tẹ̀ tí wọn yóò sì fojú wọn ba ilé ẹjọ́. Àjọ ọlọ́pàá wá pàrọwà fáwọn olórí agbègbè láti sa ipá wọn kí òpin lè dé bá irú àkọlù bẹ́ẹ̀ lágbègbè wọn. Nínú ìpàdé pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹni ọ̀rọ̀ kan ní mínísítà orílẹ̀-èdè South Africa fún ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ òkèrè Ronald Lamola ti ní irú ìwà àkọlù sáwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè míì tó ń gbé ní South Africa ní òfin kò ní fojú rẹ̀ wò bó ti wù mọ́. Ká tó mú ìròyìn Jale Jako yìí wá sí ìparí kókó inú rẹ̀ rí lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i. Àfi tó yín létí nínú ìròyìn wípé ilé ẹjọ́ pàṣẹ kíjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì san gbogbo owó àjẹmọ́nú igbákejì gómìnà tẹ́lẹ̀ Lawal fún. Bákan náà ló ń bẹ nínú ìròyìn tẹ̀sẹ̀ gbọ́tàn wípé ààrẹ Tinubu búra wọlé fún Dramani gẹ́gẹ́ bí mínísítà fọ́rọ̀ ilé ìgbé àti ìdàgbàsókè ìlú. Ó tún wà nínú ìròyìn tẹ̀sẹ̀ gbọ́tàn wípé ìjọba ilẹ̀ South Africa ṣèlérí fòfin gbé àwọn tí wọ́n ṣàkọlù sálejò. Ìròyìn Jale Jako tí Blessing Ogundola ṣe olóòtú rẹ̀ kò ní jù báyìí lọ. JAYE ọmọgbẹ̀yìn lórúkọ mi, ẹ kúrọ̀lẹ́.